criminals deserve second chances, so why can't your men?
I think it depends on the severity of the first offense. Like, if they did something that really and truly, like, hurt you, then I don't think you should put yourself back in that position because you're just making yourself vulnerable again, like Brianna said. But, again, like, also like she said, most of the time, like, if you're in love, you can't really control, like, you're going to end up giving them a second chance just because you're in love. And that's how it goes.
He cheats on you?
Oh, no, that's one thing that, me personally, I have no tolerance for that whatsoever.
So, chances like, you were flirting with a girl, I caught you DMing another girl, you really disrespected me, you said some foul stuff, I found you in a compromising situation, but you weren't cheating. But you cheat, it's over. Like.
If he really says, you know what, I messed up, I'm sorry, I didn't appreciate you, blah, 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 I think it's fair to give a second chance. No.
Not all of them.
No?
Some of them.
Some. All of them.
I
mean, some respect me, but I see them disrespecting a good majority of the other girls.
It's all on how you carry yourself. You know, whether you notice it or not, guys are watching you and they see what you do and they see how you interact with other guys and they're taking note of that, mental notes. So like, okay, he treated her like that and she was okay with it, so now I can do it. Or like they see what you tolerate basically, and based on that, I mean, you get what you put out.
You all should like respect women no matter how they carry themselves because I respect you, so respect me back.
Women have to help men respect women. Like, you have to give them something to respect.
That we really underestimate boys. I think that we're quick to say, oh, boys are so dumb, you know, because they mature at a different rate than we do. But boys, they know the game that they're playing. They're very smart, and we do underestimate that. At the same time, as humans, we are innately sexual beings, and because of that, we're driven by our sexual desires and our, our pleasures and things like that. Because of that, boys are more driven to take advantage of women, but they can't do that unless the woman allows that to happen. So
most of the boys that we see here, going off, just doing whatever, treating girls however they want, go home to a mother that they respect. Like, they know how to respect. It's in their system. They just choose not to, translate that into how they, carry themselves when they're talking to women, etc.
And me personally, I hate when a male calls me the B word. Like, that's the most disrespectful thing you can say. You're gonna call your mother that, so why would you call anyone in this room that?
I think it's a lot about like what you accept. So if you're like always going for the guy and he's like, oh, you're so sexy, I love your body, blah, 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 and you give them your time and your love and all those guys who are saying that type of thing to you instead of guys who are like, oh, you're beautiful, I think you're so smart, I think you're so sweet, then you're going to get what you're accepting.
But at the same time, there are girls out there who take what boys give, like the disrespect, because at home they don't have the love that they need from their parents. So I know, like, I personally know a lot of girls who I say, why are you letting him talk to you like that? And they're like, because that's love to me. Like, I don't know what love is. So, like I say,
in the guy's defense, I think we're wrong for always pointing the finger at them. Because it's not just them. Girls, we are just as manipulative. And we can play the same games that boys can. And I think that we're so caught on the double standard of guys taking advantage of women and, all of that, because that's what's so commonly portrayed. But let's not forget that it really does happen in both ends of the spectrum.
What does it look like when a girl does it?
They do the same exact thing.
It's really not hard. It's subtle. It doesn't even have to be like, because men are more aggressive with it. Men are like, oh yeah, you look great today. That means you look bad. But girls just be like, oh, can I play in your hair? And like, even if we don't realize it, like, to boys that is sexual. Like, they interpret that as sexual. You just gotta like play with his emotions a little bit, like make him like if you want to manipulate a guy, all you gotta do is like every insecurity he has, make them disappear. Like, if he thinks
I don't think so, because like nobody should be getting played like at all. Like, nobody should be doing that to anybody. Like, that's like the most disrespectful thing is to get played like.
That's the problem with humanity as a whole. We're so caught on somebody does something to me, I gotta do something back to them. That's the problem. If you look at history, that's the root of all conflict is revenge and that sense of I've got to get back at them, and that's the problem. Oh, he played me, I'm gonna play him. So then it keeps going. You know, that's the problem. So no, stop. Don't be dumb. Just stop. Like,
I think it's absolutely wrong to try and get back at someone for the same exact thing they did to you to hurt them, because it doesn't make you any better of a person if you try one-upping someone.
If somebody disrespects you, why don't you think of a way to be better than that? Like, why be petty and go back and do the same thing? It's not going to help the situation. It might only make it worse. So the only thing you can do for you is to be a better you for yourself.
Like, it's about respecting yourself. You don't want him to, when he's talking about, you know, what happened, you don't want anyone to say, well, yeah, like, she spazzed out on me and then she did this and that. Like, no, you want someone to be able to say, yeah, she walked out and she held her head up high. She doesn't need me. She's independent. She has her own.
Characterization, I don't like those words. I'd rather classify them as women with less self-respect than those.
But I believe that the terms are used way too loosely because, I mean, you could just see somebody in the hallway and a boy be like, oh yeah, that thought. Like, how you know she a thought? She didn't do nothing to make herself a thought.
You know, I don't want to call anyone a hoe or a thought because, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know the story.
There are people who are broken, and that's why they do those things, because they want to feel whole. They want to feel like, you know, a part of something. And yeah, I'm not saying, okay, just because they want that makes them not a hoe. But you can't just call them that. Like, you got to go deeper into it, find out what it is. And once again, like, as women or girls, we call it, like, people call each other, girls call each other hoes and thoughts and stuff like that. And that's not good because, like I said, you don't know what's going on. And instead of putting them down, you gotta go deeper into it.
She's not a hoe or thought. She's not that label. She's somebody who's hurting, you know. She's a person, she's a human that's had experiences that shaped her into who she is.
So I think the term is always used wrong because all the time I hear girls call like a thought or a hoe because she's like at a party twerking. How did that make you a thought? Maybe you just like to dance and like all your so like I just think it's wrong.
So if I have a friend and she's out here doing what she wants to do, I'm gonna let her know. I'm like, look, your actions are wrong. You're being portrayed as something that you're not, and I know you can be better. And it's just like, if she doesn't want to change that, I can't really force her to do that. And I don't have, I mean, some females would say I'm not going to associate myself with hoes, thoughts, or any other name that you want to call a girl. But it doesn't make sense to me. Nobody should act like a hoe or a thought. And if you do, then I would say, I'm not going to say like you deserve to be called that, but whatever comes to you, that's what you're getting, because that's what you're putting out. And it's as simple as that.
As if that the girls that are called like a hoe or someone that sleeps around, they do crave self-respect. And then these guys will go around and be like, oh, she's a slut, she's a whore. But those are the first girls that they go to and give attention. You don't ever see a guy say, oh, she's a great personality, I'm going to go talk to her. No, he's going to go talk to the girl that's like twerking on the wall or something. So therefore, he's then giving her more respect. Therefore, he's feeding into the insecurity and kind of feeding into her hoitude.
Like, when I'm ready might not be when you're ready. And I think when somebody knows that they're ready and they do have sex, like, people shouldn't judge them. But for people to say, oh, no, you gotta be this, you'll know when you're ready, I think. Because I feel like everybody should know. And it shouldn't be up to somebody else to say, oh, no, you shouldn't, you know.
But I think it has a lot to do with your mental and emotional development at that time. I think as females, we need to remember that sex for us is totally different than sex for men. We're emotional beings, and we take it a lot more seriously than men do. So, you know, it's okay to not be ready. You know, I haven't been ready. It's caused me to lose people, but that's fine. You need to take your time. You need to wait till you're mentally and emotionally ready. Because when you give it up and he breaks your heart and you weren't ready, then you got yourself a nasty situation.
Questions where it's like, does he respect you? Does he love you? Will this change your relationship in a way that you're okay with? Is this something that you're okay with not being long term if it doesn't work out? Like, are you gonna be happy telling your kids like 30 years from now, yeah, that was the guy I had my first time with. I loved him, we were happy, that's how it happened. We didn't end up working out, but I'm happy with how it happened. As long as you're ready, like, go for it. As long as it's like mutual respect, mutual love, and you can deal with it, you can deal with it afterwards, then there's no time limit. There really isn't.
Make sure you're giving it up to the right guy. Like, if you go through the relationship and it's like he's not faithful and all that, and like you really doubting it, it's like, I don't know if I should do this. If you keep going back and forth, who knows? He might not be the right guy for you. Or who knows?
Have sex with somebody, especially for the first time, just to keep them. Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you feel like, you know, this is kind of coming to an end, like, I don't think this is working out, like, I need something to keep him, and then you do have sex with him, and then what? He can still end up in
me. Like, since I was small, my parents were like, don't have sex until you get married. But I mean, not saying like I'm pressed to have sex or nothing, but like I'm gonna do it when I want to do it. It's like you can't tell me to wait until I'm married. I know it's the smart thing to do, but who says that person won't leave me once I have sex with them once I get married? I mean, just because you have sex, you wait to have sex, don't mean that they won't leave you the next day. And just because you have sex the day you met them, don't mean that he's gonna leave you the next day either. So I mean, you can never really say that having sex early, having sex late, it really hurts anything.
Like, it's really not about, oh, is he gonna leave me? You know, even if we have sex, or is the relationship gonna be better or worse or whatever. It's really about, are you ready for the responsibility that comes with having sex? Or if you get pregnant, what are you gonna do? If you contract the disease, not AIDS, you know, we're so caught up on HIV and AIDS. There are tons of other STDs. If you catch one, what are you gonna do? And I think that's what it's about. It's about the bigger, the broader responsibility that comes with having sex, rather than just how the relationship is going to work.
You can tell when a person is mentally mature and emotionally mature and stuff like that by their actions. Whether they know it or not, they show it. And if they're showing that they're not mature enough, then although you might be mature enough, that's not the right person.